After years of wedded bliss, Nick couldn't take it any longer. Melissa, through no fault of her own, had grown up in a home without cable TV or a VCR. If that last sentence confused you, Google it. This had resulted in her having very little pop culture movie knowledge. In order to right this injustice, the duo will watch and discuss movie after movie until Melissa has caught up with the zeitgeist of her generation. Welcome to their journey. Good evening.
Good evening.
It's quite the brisk night, is it not?
Is this another clue as to what we're watching?
What are you talking about? I don't do that.
I'm on to you.
I don't do things like that.
Brisk tea? Isn't that a nice tea?
Have you been...
It's the documentary about the iced tea company.
Has your intel perhaps revealed some secrets about my hints that I give in our conversations before we watch films?
I'm picking up on what you're throwing down.
You spy it, maybe?
Is this the clue?
I don't know, is it?
What are we watching tonight?
Do you know what we're watching tonight?
No, I don't know what we're watching
That's
tonight.
my favorite annoying question to ask, by the way.
Is it?
Especially when it's clear you don't know. I still feel compelled to ask. I don't know why. The movie we're watching tonight is called Spies Like Us.
Spies Like Us.
Yes.
Ooh, it could be anything. Could be a movie about kids who are spies.
Obviously, you've never heard of this film?
Could be a movie
That's
where
called
people...
Spy Kids, by the way.
Oh.
The movie about kids that are spies is called Spy Kids.
Oh, okay.
But keep going. It could be what?
It could be like a James Bond fan club.
Okay. It could be.
Spies Like Us.
Spies Like Us.
I've got nothing.
Nothing? You don't, no imagery in your mind?
No.
Okay.
Wow.
Well.
Is this an 80s or a 90s one?
I never tell you that.
Okay.
Usually.
I was thinking about maybe it'd be the 90s. I don't know.
You think it's the 90s? Okay. How are you? Any other thoughts?
Oh, I love spy movies.
Yeah, this is going to be probably unlike any spy movie you've ever seen.
Huh. Okay, so it's animals. Animals are the spies.
No, that's Spy Animals.
Stop.
Actually, that's, what is it, G-Force? There's a hamster spy movie. Or gerbil spy movie.
Okay. So it's not like that.
Nope.
Huh.
I feel.
It's where there's like retired people who are spies.
I think that's Space Cowboys.
What?
Oh no, that's actually called Red. There's a movie called Red.
Yeah. That's not it?
No, that's not it. No.
Okay.
This is Spies Like Us.
Man.
These are a lot of great guesses. It doesn't have to do with geriatric spies.
Okay.
It doesn't have to, I feel comfortable telling you this. Is this going to detract from your viewing experience?
No.
It doesn't have to do with geriatric spies, animal spies, or kid spies. Safely rule those out.
Okay.
All right.
As long as it's not scary, I'm good.
I mean, everyone's definition of scary is different. So.
You always say that.
It's true.
Can we watch it? Can we just go watch it now?
Yeah, let's go watch it.
Okay.
All
yes. Right. Yay.
I spy with my little eye someone who saw a movie that was pretty much unlike what you were probably expecting. Is that true?
Well, it was none of my guesses. None of my guesses was a comedy.
Nope.
Like spoofy sort of spy movie.
Well, no, that's true. It was definitely not. No. Although the geriatric spy movie, no, Red was like a serious movie.
Yeah.
Like, that was a good movie. Yeah.
It was. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. G-Force was kind of spoofy. The one with the gerbils or the hamsters, whatever.
I did not see this coming. When I saw the name Chevy Chase come up on the screen, I was like, what?
Yeah.
This is not what I was expecting at all.
Yes.
And a young Dan Aykroyd. Holy cow. He's just a baby.
He is. It's, I think it was right after he did Ghostbusters. It came out I don't know, within the same year, I think.
Okay, you say that, but I swear he looks younger than in Ghostbusters. Maybe he lost a few pounds or something.
It's like the weird, time delay of doing movies. Like, Ghostbusters came out in 1985, and so did this. So he probably had, I don't know. I didn't look up to see when the filming was shot for each and all that, but...
Slacker.
I know, I'm such a slacker. Anywho, what'd you think of this one?
You want to give us a quick summary before we go into it? Or what are you thinking?
I'll try to give a summary.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so in the beginning of the movie, Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd, who are the stars of the movie, they don't even know each other. They're just working in like the government. I think it's the CIA.
Yeah, I think we were trying to figure that out. I think it's CIA, but they're so CIA that they use like fake names of the corporation they work for.
Yeah, they don't come out like right out and say it.
Yeah.
So Chevy Chase, he's about to take this test to be like a field agent or something.
Yeah.
And so he's not studying. Oh, he's like an office guy.
Yeah.
At this point, and he's like, I'm not going to study. I'm just going to wing it. It's in my blood.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dan Aykroyd, he's working in some basement of this like
Pentagon, I think it was the Pentagon.
Okay, and he's like cracking codes, super smart.
Yeah.
But his boss is just totally taking advantage of him.
Totally.
And using his smarts to further his own career. So Dan Aykroyd's like, I'm going to take this test and get out of this job and from underneath your heel or whatever.
Yeah.
So the two of them end up sitting next to each other in the exam.
Yep.
And Chevy Chase starts cheating and like cheating off Dan Aykroyd. And for some reason, Dan Aykroyd is like, I'll go along with this.
Yeah, that's the part.
He's like so smart. He could have passed this test. But anyway, it's really goofy. It's super goofy. Chevy Chase is like, all of the gags that he uses to like cheat on the test. Like he has this like fake arm in a sling.
Yes.
Wait, why does he do that?
He does it because he hides like answers in it and he pulls pieces of paper out. Or did he pull the paper out of his mouth? And then there's the note behind his eye patch and he pulls the eye patch out and looks in the
He's
eye
wearing
patch.
an eye patch too. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty crazy.
But it draws the attention of the superior of the men in charge.
Frank Oz.
Oh, Frank Oz was the test.
He's the administrator of the test.
Wait, there's a real word for that.
It's called the administrator of the test. A teacher? He's not a teacher. He's the administrator of the test. The what?
Interlocutor?
Interlocutor? Are you talking about interocular? That's like when your eye gets damaged.
No.
Okay.
No.
He's the administrator of the test.
Okay. Sure.
You want to call him overseer?
No, it's bugging me because there's like a word that's specific to that.
Oh, look at you trying to make me feel like you're so much smarter than me because you have this big vocabulary because you quote unquote read books.
My vocabulary is not helping me right now.
It is not. Apparently, it fails you every once in a while.
So Frank Oz, though, wow, skinny dude.
It's so weird seeing him when he's not a Muppet.
It is. It's so weird. Or Yoda.
It's great.
You see him and you're like, how does Yoda come out of that man? That is so cool.
Yeah. So
anyway, their buffoonery, which that's a word.
Chevy Chase's slapstick, like the way he like does his fake coughs and stuff, and it's so stupid.
It is.
It is so ridiculous.
Yeah.
That if you're in the right mood, it's hilarious. If you're not in the right mood, it's less so.
So. Were you in the right mood? Like, did it strike your funny bone this time?
Some of the parts did.
Yeah.
But overall, I remembered the movie being way funnier than I thought it was this viewing.
Interesting.
Like, as a kid when I saw it, the slapstick humor was like just hilarious to me. And it was fun. Some of the parts made me laugh. But I remembered it being funnier than it was, that I experienced it as an adult.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so their craziness and the way that they just do this whole bombing on the test draws the attention of the superiors.
Nice word choice, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Keep going.
Who were looking for a decoy team because while this was going on, before this, there was a bomb that was brought to like a border in Russia or something. Okay. And it's like this huge bomb. It's in the middle of the woods.
I think you mean a missile. But
a missile. That's better. Let's go with that.
It's a projectile. It goes into the air. Bombs are usually delivered or dropped.
Okay. Thank you for your vocabulary.
You're welcome.
So they want like a team to go in, and they have a good team, but they're afraid that they're going to draw the attention of the enemy. So they want like a decoy team to kind of like screw around and get the attention and draw attention away from the crack team. Enter these two buffoons. They're like, they're perfect. Let's use them.
And they didn't suspect that they were like set up at all.
No,
they're like, oh, I have no experience, and then you're sending me to the highest level of agent. Let's do this.
I knew you'd see my
greatness.
Yes. So they're like fast tracked to the CIA training, and they have to go through the training, and then boom, they're like put on the field.
Yeah.
Where were they sent? It was like a camp in Afghanistan?
I think they were in Afghanistan, or Pakistan. I can't remember which.
Okay.
Yeah, in that region. And
they are mistaken for doctors.
Yes.
And so they pretend to begin an appendectomy.
Yes.
Because they're in this camp of like a kind of like a Doctors Without Borders situation.
I want to say it was like kind of like the Taliban, really. Like it was like they were the freedom fighters who in the 80s, the Taliban were the freedom fighters.
But they were helping them.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, that's the whole story. But
the doctors were supposed to be helping
Correct.
These indigenous people.
Correct.
And performing a surgery on someone who was really important. Anyway, so the surgery, we could talk. That's a funny part.
That part was funny.
Not every part of this movie like made me laugh. The movie didn't make me crack up.
Yeah.
But the surgery was really funny.
Yes, it was.
Go ahead.
Just the part where Dan Aykroyd, they're doing an appendectomy, and then he has the scalpel up by like the breastbone, like at the top of his chest.
I will now make the incision, and it's like right above his heart.
Yes. And the doctors are like, and he's like, what? I'm doing this technique called sensing the musculature. What are you talking? This is the latest. Blah, blah, blah.
He's also Dan Aykroyd. So they're in a tent. First of all, this is in the middle of the desert. They're in a tent performing this surgery. Yeah. And underneath the bed, he has like a surgical novel or a textbook that he's referencing while he's doing that. So he'll like pop down and like try to frantically read, a page, and then he'll pop back up and like try to do what he just read. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then he just keeps looking to the actual doctors, like looking at them as he's moving the blade around the body, like in an operation game.
And he's waiting for them to kind of signal, oh, that's the spot with their eyes, which he does. Yeah. And then he's just about to make the incision. Is he going to really do it?
Yeah, he announces it like committed. 8 times.
Right. Like, you're thinking like, no, he's not going to do this. There's got to be a way out.
Yeah. And there is a way out.
Yeah. The guy just dies.
The guy dies.
Before he makes any incision.
And then they have to run, right? Because the warlord was the warlord's brother or something.
Yeah, he was an important man.
Yeah.
And so they're like angry.
Yep.
And so they just take off.
In amidst all this, there's a beautiful doctor, and Chevy Chase is the goofy ladies' man. So his only mission wherever they go is to like woo ladies.
Right.
And he was like, I don't care what's going on. I need to woo this lady.
Yeah. So he's trying to, pick her up while Dan Aykroyd's frantically trying to like actually be like a doctor.
Yeah. So then they escape. And they make their way, they're like, get us out of here, basically.
Yeah, they find a phone call and they call
bosses.
The CIA headquarters.
And they call a super secret, like, bunker in the middle of nowhere on an unsecure line. And, like, and then
we're laughing more at the absurdity of it.
And then when they get the call in the bunker, one of the airmen who takes the call, he's like, we have a call from the field agents. And like, how do they get this? Does anybody know? Is that a secure line? No. Well, I mean, the AT&T operator knows, but no one else.
That was goofy.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like, this movie, it was fun, but it wasn't like, I don't know. I guess it didn't strike me as like hilarious this on this viewing. Mm-hmm. The funniest part for me was a little bit after the surgery scene. They're like at a cabin. What's happening with this cabin?
You're talking about the cabin where Chevy Chase was kidnapped?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, by the Russians.
Yeah. There was a funny line in that one, too, where they're threatening them. They're like, we're going to cut off a finger every time you don't tell us the truth. And Chevy Chase says, mine? Yours?
Whose finger?
No, yours. Dang it.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good line.
He had a couple good lines, yeah.
He's very quippy.
Oh, yeah. That's his whole thing, yeah.
I'm learning that. Like, I didn't really know that. All I knew him from was
Community?
Community. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm getting to know the younger Chevy Chase through this podcast.
This is the second Chevy Chase film we've watched in the podcast, too.
Yeah. So now I can compare. And I think he's funnier in National Lampoons.
Oh, well, yeah. And have you seen Fletch?
Oh, yeah, I have seen Fletch.
You've seen Fletch?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember much about it.
Have you seen
I was
Caddyshack?
rolling on the floor laughing. I have not seen Caddyshack.
Not seen Caddyshack. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Right.
He's making a note.
I'm making a note.
Going on the list.
Caddyshack is a pretty quintessential American comedy film. Like, that one, that's got to come up at some point.
Okay. That's the one with the groundhog.
Yes!
Oh, I know a little bit about
let's
it.
not get ahead of ourselves here.
Okay.
Let's stick to the task at hand.
Right.
They made it to the border. You are finding some of the movie funny, some of the movie not.
Yeah, the part where so Dan Aykroyd is trying to like Chevy Chase gets kidnapped by the bad guys.
Right.
And he's in a cabin. He's being like threatened.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's funny. He's quippy. He has great demeanor under pressure.
He does, actually.
Yeah. Like, I wish I could be that like suave when someone's threatening me.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. I'm just, as you're talking, I'm just thinking all the stupid physical humor that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like when Dan Aykroyd rushes in on a horse to rescue him with like Uzis blazing.
Yeah.
And then he stops and he's like got everybody down, pinned down. And Chevy Chase is supposed to just jump on the horse, but he jumps on and just pulls Dan Aykroyd off and they both fall to the ground.
That was one of my favorite parts.
Yeah.
That was great. And then also when Chevy and Dan are like behind a wood pile,
mm-hmm.
and one of the bad guys throws a grenade out the window and it lands in Chevy Chase's lap, and he's just so slow about this. Like his response is like, "Hey, what's this?
This is what is this? What do I do with this?"
And Dan Aykroyd's like, "It's a bomb or something."
Yeah.
And so then he stands up and he kind of looks and takes his time and then throws it. Like, it's just so drawn out, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's going to explode in his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that part.
That was funny. I enjoyed it as well. And he has a perfect throw when he throws it back. He just throws it just nonsensically, and it just goes perfectly in the window, of course. So,
do you know what's weird is like sitting here describing the jokes, they're funnier to me than when we were watching it. What's that all about?
I'm wondering if it would be funnier if we watched it again.
Maybe we just
should we just force ourselves? Maybe we're in a good mood. I don't know. Who knows? You know what? I have this theory about this movie too, because part of the reason I picked this movie in particular, two reasons. Mm-hmm. One, it's winter, and it's a winter movie. There's a lot of snow in it.
Yes.
Two, I mean, the political climate right now, there's lots going on with Russia, and, you know, there's worries about nuclear weapons and things like that. Right. And that's like the main storyline of this movie.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's weird to see the full circle of like, we used to worry about this stuff, then we didn't for a couple decades, and now we're kind of worrying about it again.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very interesting.
I also think too, like, I mean, some of the humor in the movie, the slapstickiness and the just kind of the dumb comedy is, you know, that's just part of kind of the shtick of some of the actors. But I wonder if they went really heavy with it too, because of how heavy the topic was. Like in 1985, like, you know, the wall hadn't fallen. Communism was still, you know, half of Europe, and it was like real. The Cold War was still very much a thing. So I wonder if they were kind of going over the top a bit to just diffuse. I just winked at you. Just the seriousness of the situation. I don't know.
Diffuse, big wink.
Big wink.
Maybe you're tapping into a question that you usually ask about the meaning of the movie. Maybe that was it. Maybe it's to kind of put those current events of that day into like a bigger perspective. Yeah. Or to kind of step back and just take a laugh at it because of how silly everything. I mean, yeah, how you can call it kind of crazy and silly.
It is. It was crazy. It is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, the original ending to the movie.
Oh, there's another ending?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it did not test well with audiences.
The Russians win.
Everything blows up.
That's
like the world ends.
Oh my god.
That was the original ending of the movie.
That's who would write a comedy and then have it end.
Apparently,
that
Dan
way?
Aykroyd. He was the writer of it.
He was the writer.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. The test audience didn't like it.
That's funny.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I remember liking about this when I watched it too was like the humanization of Russians in the movie. Like the characters they showed were very like playful and kind of funny. Not the ones who were in the KGB. I'm talking about the ones who were like manning the missile.
Okay. They were like a family.
They were, yeah, pretty much.
And all the sons wanted to do was turn on the radio and dance.
Yes, exactly.
And there was like You called her the mom, but maybe she was just like...
They were not an actual family, no.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
It was just, they were soldiers, they were just women and men.
I thought they were actual
They were
family.
not an actual family, no.
No, they weren't, because that would...
Yes.
Yes, there's a part where...
When the world is ending and people are spending their last moments together...
They start pairing off.
Yes, they're definitely not a family. But that also like reflected a lot of what was happening in culture too, with things like Billy Joel performed, behind the Iron Curtain. And I think Springsteen did it too at some point, but it was like, that was the culture war that was happening in the Cold War, was, communism versus capitalism, democracy and freedom, quote unquote, and not. So seeing the culture seep into that country behind the Iron Curtain and everything, like that was like a microcosm of it at the end of the movie there, where you saw it. Them wanting to listen to American music because it's, it was like forbidden, but it was just kind of free and fun and not heavy. So
interesting.
Yeah. Anyway.
Wow. Dan Aykroyd really spoke to you.
He really did. I mean, may have formed some of the ideas I have about it based on this movie.
Your education about the Cold War was from Spies Like Us.
I was pretty young during the Cold War, so some of it's probably informed by that.
Oh my gosh, it wasn't even a subject in my house. Like, I'm learning about it now.
Oh, well, it could have been all the 80s movies I watched.
I was thinking after we watched this movie about, are there movies that make me crack up? Like really lose it? And I kept thinking of like examples that weren't movies. I was like, okay, Parks and Rec.
Yeah, it's a TV show. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Or The Office. Like those shows made
Arrested Development.
Oh my gosh. Arrested Development makes me laugh like crazy. Saturday Night Live makes me laugh a lot.
You also laugh at stand-up comedians as well.
Yeah.
You will laugh at that.
So what's up with that? But I couldn't think of a movie. Am I just not watching comedies?
Did you really? Typically we don't really.
Right.
You don't watch a lot of comedies.
I will tell you one movie that I remember like completely cracking up over. Wait, yes. I'm going to forget the name of the movie. It's Eddie Murphy.
Coming to America?
No, I didn't. It's not from this podcast.
Okay, I was gonna say we just watched that.
It's like where he portrays like a whole bunch of different people in
the Nutty Professor.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember I saw that movie in the theater, and the theater was packed. Every seat was full.
Yeah. And
there were like people sitting next to me that were just like cracking up like crazy.
Yeah.
And I was as well. Like, so that was like the one experience I can remember of like totally laughing out loud at a movie.
Yeah. There are movies I watch that make me laugh like that.
Like what ones?
I can't think of them. They're usually they're like rated R comedies are really funny like that, which you typically haven't really watched a lot of them.
Is Deadpool on your list? Is that a rated
R? That's a
comedy?
funny one. Yeah, actually. Yes, that's rated R. That is funny. So is part 2 as well, actually. Those are funny. They're just the tone of comedies. It's hard. Comedy is hard.
Yeah.
To make things funny is hard.
I mean, unless you're like me, I'm really funny.
You are so funny.
Go on. You were saying it is really hard. And I was thinking like sustaining comedy for a whole movie.
Yeah.
Like the reason why I kept thinking of TV shows is because they're little bursts of comedy.
Yeah.
A 30-minute, whatever. And you're not laughing during the whole thing.
Well,
but
yeah. And during a movie, like TV shows a lot of times do what are called like throwaway gags. Like, and you just keep going. But movies, you have to have like a coherent story for an hour and a half and then kind of go, which you can do throwaway gags and it's just trickier, I think. Anyway, I can show you more comedies if you want more comedies. I mean, I'll watch one and that is super hilarious to me and I'll show it to you and you'll be like, that wasn't funny at all. And it'll just illustrate our difference of humor, which is fine.
Maybe that'll happen.
Could.
Maybe it won't.
It might not. Fine. Challenge accepted.
All right.
I just thought of 3 movies I could show you.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Bim bam boom. Okay.
Bim bam boom. So, we didn't even finish the summary. It's one of those things.
The world doesn't blow up.
The world does not blow up.
They actually end up saving the day.
They do.
Which is what you want from this movie. You want them to actually like come through with their own skills that they already had.
Yeah.
And like save the day better than the crack team.
Oh no. Was this the beginning of Everybody Gets a Trophy? Like even the people who are inept are valuable and they have value and they can do things. Is this where it started?
No, it's because, well, I mean, I think this is more of the start of like the nerd wins because Dan Aykroyd is the one who saves the day. And like Chevy Chase
holds onto the wiring and his body's the conduit and he gets electrocuted because like this.
Yeah.
That it wouldn't have happened without him.
But no, I think this is more the birth of like the nerd is awesome. And
that wasn't in
being
Revenge
intelligence, like being intelligent like saves the day.
Being intelligent, and you don't have to be a supermodel looking, because the supermodels are super intelligent too, but there's supermodels who are super intelligent. The other spies. They were very smart too.
Oh, okay.
They were smart too. They were smart and skilled.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen Revenge of the Nerds?
No.
Okay. Well, now that I'm hearing you talk about nerds, I kind of want to like you to write a thesis about this now.
Sure.
And you definitely need to add Revenge of the Nerds to it's a comedy as well.
Oh, hey. 2 birds with 1 stone.
Oh, I gave away too much already. Okay. So what were your final? They don't die. They launch the missile, which the reason that the spy, they end up launching the missile because their bosses want to test like a Star Wars program and shoot it down.
Right.
And you and I, when we were watching, we're like, why wouldn't you just hit anything? Hit a satellite, anything. But anyway.
Well, in doing so, they expose the devious plans of like the head of the CIA.
Yeah.
And so it's a good thing that happens according to the story.
Mm-hmm.
And they end up saving the day. So they launch the missile. The defense system they were testing doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And the missile's going and it's going to like blow up the US. And so they...
chain reaction. That would just blow up the whole world too.
Right,
because everybody launched their nukes.
Right, like a last Babylon.
Mm-hmm.
And so what, they like just divert the missile to go into space and then it explodes? After they have a break of, pairing up and thinking the world is going to end, then they have the idea, the aha moment of, oh, we could just reverse it and have nothing,
it go.
Nothing has to end. We can save the world.
Yeah, we can just save the world.
It didn't occur to us.
Didn't occur to us before. They had to be relaxed in order to be in that place to talk about.
And that's true. That's true in your life.
Stress is hard.
Yeah, it blocks your mind from creativity.
Totally blocks it. So are you glad or sad you saw this one? What do you think?
Gosh.
Yeah.
I guess I'm kind of neutral.
Neutral?
Leaning towards glad. Like, if I never saw this movie, I think I could. I don't think I'm going to miss pop culture references to it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think so.
I agree. Yeah, but what? Sorry.
Oh, but now we might like have more things to joke about.
That's true. I think this movie. I don't think you've seen a lot of movies about like communist Russia and just the Cold War. Really. Right?
Is that your conclusion after our conversation?
Pretty much, yeah.
I don't
Probably
know.
like War Games is the only other movie you've seen in this vein, I would imagine.
Okay.
You remember War Games?
No.
You don't remember War Games?
I do. Settle down. Slow down. I remember War Games. No, I was actively trying to think of what was the film that was shot in your old neighborhood?
Oh, Red Dawn?
Red Dawn, yeah.
That's the remake, yeah.
Okay.
Have you seen the original Red Dawn?
I feel like I have. I think you showed it to me.
Did I show it to you?
Yeah.
Okay. That would definitely... We're going to vet that later, because that's a must if you haven't seen it. That's a must. Okay. So, anyway, I feel like it rounds that out. Like, you literally lived through the end of the Cold War. As a human being, you were on this planet when it happened. So, I think it's good. It's good for you. So, if you were to contrive a way to cheat on a government test for being an agent, what would it be?
Whoa, I don't think about cheating a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Is the test, like, what format is the test in?
Oh, it's like in the movie. It's paper. It's not electronic.
It's a paper test? Yeah. Okay. Well, I think I would probably try writing it on something if I knew what the answers were.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, how does someone go into the test knowing what the answers are? That's a whole other problem.
I'm pretty sure they got a booklet that had all the answers and you study it and you memorize it, but I don't know. That's what they made it seem like.
I like the cast idea.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know, like having something, I'm like right now, like trying to like secretly look at my arm, like having something I could just secretly look at, but it would look like I'm just looking down.
Okay.
I don't know what I could do about that, but yeah, something like that.
Okay.
What? You're looking at me like
I just know exactly what I would do.
You already know what you would do?
I do. I don't know if I should say it though.
Say it.
What if I have to pass an agent test? I would have a hearing aid, but it would be a transmitter, and I could have someone on the outside giving me answers.
Ooh.
That's what I do.
Yeah, the danger of that is like, first of all, them calling you out on being a young man with a hearing aid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can commit to that. That's fine.
Secondly, when you're listening to someone talking in your ear, the tendency, I think, would be for your eyes to kind of like unfocus or kind of glaze over. It might look...
Oh, like you look off in the distance?
Yeah, like it might be... You have to like really work hard against the instinct to show that you're listening to someone.
I feel like I do that when I think in general, though. Like I just look off in the distance or look up in the corner. A lot of people do that. But anyway, those are valid concerns. I will take that into consideration before enacting my plan.
I just don't want you to get caught.
I don't want to get caught either, obviously. Okay. You didn't mention what you thought the message of this movie was, by the way. Like, that was kind of my message. Did you have one? I don't want to deprive you of this wonderful...
of my favorite question. I mean, I think as I was talking out loud about the nerds saving the day, I think that's part of the message.
Yeah, okay. That's fair enough.
And also that it's good to be silly.
It's good to be silly. That's true. You know, yeah, life is too short and the whole planet could be decimated with the push of a button. So why take yourself so seriously?
Oh, sweet dreams, everyone.
And with that, good night.
Spies Like Us. Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd.
We've got a very special assignment for you two.
Boy.
Heads down!
This is my sister. You can all have her.
Just a coffee? That's a good idea.
Let me see that. Hey, come on.
Honestly, you two are unbelievable.
Stop!
Every minute you don't tell us why you're here, I cut off a finger.
Mine or yours?
Yours.
Damn.
Down! Hi-yo, Silver! Away!
Chevy Chase.
Get us the hell out of here!
Dan Aykroyd. To think my high school guidance counselor said I'd never amount to anything. Spies Like Us.
We're Americans!